Hello. Had to clear my storage on my phone, but we're good. Okay, and I added a little plant here. All right, so back to the story. So I go and I ask him, I'm like, can I'm not sure where I was in the story. Can I get this anyway? Because I already had a class already. And he said yes. And so I was like, yes, I could totally get a free class. And I was so pumped. I was so excited. And the reason why I share this story is because especially as women, we have years of us not feeling comfortable to express our desires because of what we've been met with in the past. I mean, the fact that women can now earn so much money now, I mean, the fact that we have the freedom in not all places, but if you have the privilege to be able to work and have the privilege, if you have a phone, be able to work from your phone in so many places and make money off of that. And we've gone through so much change for women to really rise and to not just rise, but descend in our body and be able to create such beautiful work and money. And so with so much change, it's also like, oh, we can have the luxury of having our own money, having our own, pick of who we want to be with. There's so much freedom and so much freedom, and also there's so much beauty in what we're like now and what we can create. And so, something that I learned from a mentor of mine, mentors, I would say, because I've read so many books about this, but especially in relationship, I said maybe I learned this from Chelsea Jo Huntsman. She's a wonderful, wonderful teacher mentor. But it might have been her, I can't remember who, but she does a lot of relationship coaching. And something she shares, or just reading, and also from my own experience, is in a relationship, in a partnership, where instead of nitpicking, I wish you would do that. I wish you would do that. I wish you would do this. In any relationship, honestly, this could be a romantic, it could be a friendship, it could be anything. This is an example similar to in the first video, or first or second video. Instead of being like, oh, I wish you for example, I wish you invited me to go on a trip with you. And so I got jealous, and then I was like, ah! Instead, in the moment, hey, I would love to go on a trip with you. Or let's say if it's a romantic partnership and you're just nagging at your partner and you're like, oh, why don't you do that for me? Instead, how about reframe it in the moment, noticing that desire, and instead of turning into jealousy, we're moving it into what we do desire to create, which is sorry, a lot going on. What we do desire to create. And so just noticing that shift, especially in partnership, it's like the last relationship I had was so beautiful, and also it didn't last. And I knew when it needed to end, and it wasn't time anymore for us to be together. As in, I knew I got a lot more clarity in what I did want in a partnership during that relationship. But it was so healing. It was so beautiful in so many ways. And in that relationship, I really got to get emotional thinking about it. But I got to experience what it was like to really build my man up. And I wasn't perfect. There was times when I would nitpick, and I got stressed out and was like, can you just do this? But I got to experience what it was like to honor him and to really give to him, and in gratitude build him up. Wow, I really love what you're creating. Wow, I'm so thank you so much for giving to me, either it's cooking a meal, or I love your sensitivity, or I would love if you could do this for me. And then reciprocated, when I had this desire to cook him a meal, or to give him a back massage or a foot massage, or he would give to me and pour to me, and just give and pour to each other. And although it didn't last, it was so beautiful, because we weren't naggy for the most part. It was, when we were naggy, it was because I was misaligned within myself and what I was creating in my life, work, and not spending more time with myself. And I noticed that when I was like just not in a good mood, or just in a very fear mindset instead of this abundant mindset. So yeah, it was so beautiful. And yeah, and so this is just, these are some examples that I hope can resonate with you around speaking your true desires. Like I mentioned before with a sweet friend of mine, that I didn't do a good job of speaking those desires, and she caught it and she mirrored me. A good friend will mirror you and be like, hey, you also have to be able to receive it, but like, hey, what was it here that you needed, that you were really desiring, and what was your process? And so we got to work together, and I got a reflection, and I'm like, okay. So a good friend will reflect on what they see in you, that you, if you're open to receiving that. It takes a lot of humility to be able to receive a reflection of what they see in you. And this is a good friend of mine, and so it's not like just some random person giving me a reflection, because it's a good, solid, close friend, not just anyone on the street giving you a reflection, because or like if it's like a coach or a mentor, that just, there's a time and place. And there's also, what I'm trying to say is some people just give unsolicited advice, unless they're like a mentor or a guide in some way, unless you're asking for advice in some way. So I wanted to clarify that, because we can get so, there's some people can just give you advice and you're like, I wasn't even asking for it, what? So that's what I really wanted to share around the desires. And yeah. So now I would love to speak on abundance. When it comes to, this is all around self-love, and this is tying into self-love because it ties into our frequency, and noticing when we are in states of low vibe, high vibe. Excuse me. So there's a lot of things coming through. I think for me, people, it's like, follow what feels good. And I think what I really wanted to share around this abundance piece was following what feels good, but also like having a mentality of like, things are always working out, even when, like, trusting the process, even when it's fucking scary, like scary out of your mind, like so scary, but really trusting the process of things are always going to work out, and just follow your path, follow your North Star, follow your guidance, listen within, get the F off of social media, like all the things, all the distractions that are happening. I had a dinner tonight, and I just sat there, and I was by myself, had some delicious Peruvian chicken, and just like Peruvian dinner. It was actually funny. I was like, this is actually tying in to what feels good, is that I'm also a generator in human design. I don't know if you know. If you know human design, awesome. If not, that's totally fine. But human design is all about like following your gut, feeling what feels good. And I had a green juice yesterday, like really trying to eat really well, because when I do, I feel really good. And also noticing what feels good in my body, versus like just, oh, this is healthy, so I should eat this. Like, this is healthy, I should eat this. And then I'm pointing in my gut, but this feels really good. And so I'm gonna tie this in, but I was originally gonna go to this like really healthy, like kind of like a Chipotle, but like a healthier version, just like a very like rice and like grains and like just it's called Happy and Hale. So I was gonna go there. I was like, and get a green smoothie. And then next door was this Peruvian chicken place with tostones, which is like some fried plantains. And I was like, I'm feeling this place though. Like my body's like, this place. But my mind's like, that place is healthier and you'll feel better. But I'm like, my soul is happy. Everything's happy. Of course, take this with a grain of salt. Sometimes, like, I don't want to show up to yoga, but I do, because I know it feels really, really good afterwards. So it's definitely a balance. Yeah, and that's why earlier I was saying like our bodies are have cycles, and so with the yoga, or I didn't like our cycles. So like I didn't do yoga for like 2 weeks, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to do it, but I was just like I couldn't. So it changes. So anyways, coming back, just trusting the process of like what is your yes and what is your no in your body and your heart, and the wisdom there. For me, for example, like I've been a wedding photographer for 13 years. Freaking loved it. And then 5 years ago, I went through an ending of a long-term relationship marriage. And after that, I was like, I need a change. So I took a 2-year solo backpacking journey by myself, went through, all these like silent meditation retreats and yoga teacher training and kirtan, and I learned the guitar for the first time in my life, played every single day, sang, did all the things, and went on a really like deep self-love journey, explored my sexuality, and it was beautiful. And also so much was shifting. I was like, how am I gonna go back and do this job when I'm changing so much? And so over the years, it's been this like scary journey of like, well, what am I gonna do next? I'm still doing it because it's been done. I've had this business for 13 years, and like it's how I made my living. But I'm changing, and what I've had to learn, and still learning, is surrendering to the experience of letting go and letting God, and following what feels good and aligned with me, even when my bank ain't, like when my bank isn't like showing that abundance, but aligning, because when I'm following my gut and what feels really good, doors start to open. Absolutely. Another dream, which is still true, is making an album, making an EP. And I was like, I want to make this my full-time thing. My mind, I want to make this my full-time thing. Like, I have to do this. But there was so much resistance, and not just that, but I wasn't doing it all the time, because there was still a part of me that wasn't in full enjoyment of it. And because that is not it's a path. Sometimes I freaking love being creative. I love dancing. I love singing it all the time. But it wasn't fully aligned with what feels aligned within me in my life. how I want to serve, how I want to make impact, how I want to make money. And learning that, like, letting go, because it doesn't actually have to be so much resistance. Like, it can be fun when it's fully aligned. And so just noticing what parts in your life, is it the way you're working, is it your relationships, is it your health, where are you out of alignment and feeling so heavy and needing to let go? Is it a mentor that you currently have that you adore, you love her in your mind, or you love him in your mind, and you love the mentor, you love the teacher, but there's like, it's just time to let go, and knowing that, and just acting in the moment. You know what? This doesn't feel aligned. All right, I'm going to let it go, or have a conversation and say, thank you so much. Not aligned anymore. Love you. Thank you. And, going. And people usually, like leaders, are receptive to that. So how is that sitting with you all? Yeah. I would love to know how that's sitting with you all. And yeah, I feel like the best way to share is through stories. Let's take a deep breath. Yeah. This has been lovely. I hope that this storytelling and sharing has resonated with you. This has really been impactful for me. And this is if this is the last time you'll see me, I hope that this was an impact for you all, and that it resonated. Take what resonates, leave the rest. And if you desire to go deeper with me, please shoot me a message to do more coaching, one-on-one or group. And I love this so much. Like, I'm so passionate about this. I love helping people wherever they are and have more self-love and nurturing for themselves, and wherever they are in their journey. And so after this, I would love for you to either journal or dance and move through your body, however it is, and invite yourself to be in a space of, like, how can you experience more abundance in your life, where what feels in alignment, out of alignment, and journal about it, or dance with it, or meditate on it, or notice your desires that you have and write them down, like I was saying in the last video. Yeah, so let's take a deep breath in and exhale out. Thank you so much, God, for speaking through me and sharing through stories. And may this person here leave with so much lessons, abundance, love, and clarity on their next steps in life. And thank you, God, for speaking through me. And amen. Ashe, aho. And so it is. Thank you all, and I love you. Please let me know your thoughts. Reciprocity is amazing. Ciao.